Have you ever felt like you're speaking, but no one is truly hearing you? Like your message is getting lost in the constant barrage of information that bombards us every day? You're not alone. In a world filled with endless distractions and competing voices, getting your voice heard can feel like an impossible uphill battle. But what if the key to being listened to lies not in speaking louder, but in communicating smarter? What if the secret to cutting through the noise lies not in amplifying your voice, but in refining your message and truly connecting with the hearts and minds of those you want to reach? Before we can change how others perceive us, we need to understand why they might not be listening in the first place. Think about it. How many times have you found your attention drifting during a conversation, a presentation, or even a favorite show? We've all been there. Sometimes the reason is simple, a lack of clarity. If your message isn't clear and concise, people will struggle to follow, their minds wandering to more engaging thoughts. Other times, it's the delivery. A monotone voice can make even the most exciting topics seem dull and uninspiring. And let's not forget the information overload we face daily. Bombarding listeners with too much data, too many facts, and figures can overwhelm them, causing their minds to simply shut down. But perhaps the most overlooked reason people tune out is a disconnect between the message and the audience. Failing to address what's relevant to your audience, their needs, their interests, their hopes and dreams. That's a surefire way to lose their attention. Now, many people might think that being heard is all about how well you speak, how eloquently you phrase your thoughts, how captivating your stories are. But the truth is, effective communication is a two-way street. It starts not with speaking, but with listening, truly listening. By actively listening, you show respect and understanding, which encourages others to reciprocate. It creates a virtuous cycle of engagement and empathy. So how do you become an active listener? It starts with being fully present in the moment. Put away the distractions, the phone, the laptop, the to-do list running through your mind, and focus entirely on the speaker. Listen to their words, pay attention to their tone, observe their body language. And once they've finished speaking, don't just jump in with your own thoughts. Take a moment to reflect on what you've heard, paraphrase it back to them to ensure understanding and show that you've been paying attention. And perhaps most importantly, ask open-ended questions. This shows genuine interest and encourages the speaker to elaborate, to share more of themselves, to feel truly heard. Of course, how you present your message is just as important as the content itself. You can have the most brilliant ideas, the most insightful observations, but if you can't communicate them effectively, they'll fall flat. So how do you craft a message that resonates, that sticks with people long after you've finished speaking? It starts with knowing your audience. Who are you speaking to? What are their interests? What are their needs? What challenges do they face? Tailor your message to resonate with their specific context, their unique perspectives. And once you understand your audience, it's time to structure your thoughts. Organize your points logically, using clear transitions and signposts to guide your listeners through your message. Don't be afraid to use stories and analogies. These tools are incredibly powerful for making complex ideas more relatable and memorable. They tap into our emotions, our imagination, and help us connect with information on a deeper level. Chapter 4: Nonverbal Communication Matters. Now, we often think of communication as purely verbal, but the reality is that our words only make up a small part of how we communicate. Our body language, our facial expressions, our tone of voice, these nonverbal cues can significantly impact how our message is received. They can either reinforce our words or completely undermine them. So pay attention to your nonverbal communication. Maintain eye contact with your listeners. This conveys confidence and sincerity. Use gestures purposefully to emphasize your points and keep the audience engaged. And be mindful of your tone. A varied and expressive tone keeps listeners interested, while a flat, monotone voice can quickly lull them into boredom. Remember, communication is like a dance. It's about finding a rhythm, a flow that keeps both you and your audience engaged. Chapter 5. Building Trust and Credibility. Now, let's talk about trust. People are far more likely to listen to those they trust and respect. It's human nature. When we sense authenticity, when we believe in someone's integrity, we're more open to hearing what they have to say. So, how do you build trust as a communicator? It starts with consistency. Your actions must align with your words. If there's a disconnect between what you say and what you do, people will notice, and your credibility will suffer. Secondly, show empathy. Make an effort to understand others' perspectives, even if you don't agree with them. Empathy fosters connection, and connection builds trust. And finally, don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong. No one is perfect, and acknowledging our mistakes demonstrates humility and integrity. It shows that we're more interested in learning and growing than in being right all the time. Chapter 6. Continuous improvement. Finally, remember that effective communication is not a destination, but a journey. It's a skill that can always be refined, honed, and improved upon. So how do you continue to grow as a communicator? First, seek feedback. Ask trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors for honest feedback on your communication style. What are your strengths? What areas could use improvement? Secondly, observe effective communicators. Pay attention to how they structure their messages, how they use their body language, how they connect with their audience. What can you learn from their approach? And finally, practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more natural and effortless your communication will become. Outro. Your voice matters. Being heard isn't about dominating conversations, it's about connecting with others through clear, empathetic, and engaging communication. It's about understanding that our voices have power, the power to inform, to inspire, to create real change in the world. But with that power comes responsibility, the responsibility to use our voices thoughtfully, to speak our truths with courage and conviction, and to listen with open hearts and minds. By understanding why people might not be listening and implementing these strategies, you can transform your interactions and ensure your voice resonates, not just amidst the noise, but because of it. If you found these insights helpful, consider subscribing for more tips on effective communication, and be sure to share your experiences and strategies in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and build a world where everyone feels heard, understood, and valued.